Welcome back. Earlier today, I played the Vinh-bot on video, and I hadn't played Vinh in a long time. He's kind of my nemesis when it comes to the bots, at least in the 1300 range. And I blundered a perpetual check at the end, and Vinh took advantage of that, and we drew. So now I'm going to try it again. I'm switching over to the screen. I had a lead for almost that entire game, and threw it away. I have beaten Vinh before, but never regularly, and I don't know that I've ever beaten Vinh twice in a row. But I need to beat him today to get over the feeling that I have about that last game. So let's just let the computer choose the colors. I had white in the last game. Let's see what we get here. Oh, I get white again. Well, I'll play e4 again. That's the same thing Vinh played in the last game, and I played knight to c3. That's not the same thing Vinh did in the previous game. In the previous game, Vinh played this right here, b5, which I should have taken with the bishop, but instead I took with my knight. I don't know what the queen's doing out there, and I feel like I should get this knight out to immediately challenge it. I don't remember Vinh being a bring the queen out early type person, but it's been, as I said, it's been a long time since I played the Vinh-bot. I suppose I could also just play g3 and prepare to fianchetto. Let's play the knight move, though. That's got to be better, right? Okay, the queen has gone back. Now can we take the full center and then he'll continue the French, which is what he started out with? I don't know. Or should I push this? I'm going to play d4. All right. Vinh also played an f-pawn in move 4 of the last game, except he played f5 that time, and I didn't know I was supposed to take it. So I didn't, but I was supposed to take it. I do know that if I push forward here, he can push past. So should I push here, or should I get a bishop out? I think I should go ahead and get my light squared bishop out to c4. And don't think he can immediately challenge that. I guess he could play a pawn move and then I could take, but then he could take and then I would have to drop the bishop back. Oh no, then I could check and drop the, no, he could block with the c-pawn. I don't know. I'm going to put the bishop on c4. You know what? Let's take it. I have 2 pieces guarding that square, both of these, and Vinh only has 1 piece guarding that square. So I think I should take with the knight. That way that if Vinh checks me, I can drop it back here to defend. Okay, he didn't check, but he's immediately challenged it. I can put it back where it was, or I can put it back on e3, or it'll be in front of the king. Or I could check with my queen on e2. I think I'll drop the knight back, and then prepare to castle. Okay, and here it just makes sense to drop the bishop back to b3, correct? And if they bring the other pawn, I will push. They did not bring the other pawn. Okay, I guess we take that and then trade queens. Is that what happens here? Or do I castle and not worry about that? If no, I have to take, otherwise he pushes. Okay, then we trade queens with, I can take back with this knight. Oh, we're not going to trade queens, but he is protecting his queen, so I should castle. Okay, and then I will capture that with my rook now that I have castled. And we have seen h5. I still need to get my dark squared bishop out, but I'm not sure where to put it. I also can maybe try to get this knight in closer and maybe put it there. Wait, that pawn's hanging. Why didn't Vinh just take that pawn? I actually cannot defend it on this turn, can I? But I can push this pawn forward, drop the bishop back, and then throw that pawn forward. And then if he doesn't take it on this next turn, I can defend it. Because right now my dark squared bishop really doesn't have a lot of places to go anyway. Is that coming in here? Hoping to open up that file? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and go with my plan of pushing forward my b pawn. Okay. That can't be good, can it? Gonna separate another pawn here? Let's try that. Okay, and then I can protect my front c pawn that Vinh didn't take. And put this bishop here. Okay, challenging my rook. I can block that with a pawn, but then they can push this pawn forward. Or I could just take that with the knight now. No, because then they take back and have a knight really well placed right there. I can just move. Oh no, my rook's in danger. I was gonna, why was I said I could just move the knight. I can just move the rook. Let's just move the rook over one, pointed directly at the king. And then move the bishop. Oh, he took that pawn anyway. What? Okay, now the pawn's undefended, but I think that's okay. I'm going to get this bishop off the back rank. I'm aiming at an undefended pawn. The king has moved forward. Let's take that undefended pawn. All right, and then take this bishop here finally. It's kind of what I thought would happen, and take this pawn. Then check. Now that the bishop's not guarding this square anymore, I feel like I'm doing pretty well in this one so far, but I don't know. I'm going to trade off for that rook because I'm up 5 points of material. I think that's smart, and I still have a rook on the back rank, so I think that's okay. And then I can protect my c-pawn, which is currently in danger, or I could check first. Let's protect the c-pawn first. Okay, they have 2 pieces aimed here. I can just push that pawn. Okay. And then I can take the knight with the pawn, but then he'll take my bishop. But then I'll get another pawn too. Or I could save the bishop. Should I save the bishop or take the knight? Again, I'm up. I think trading material is good. I'm going to take the knight. And he did not take my bishop, so I'm going to save the bishop by putting it here and protecting it with the pawn. And checking. And checking. And checking. It's too bad that bishop's in the way. I could do a discovery here and win that bishop. And there's no other good discovery here, is there? Okay. What do I want to do besides the discovered check? I kind of just want to pull it back to threaten this pawn, but then Vinh could come closer. I don't know that he will, but that's what I would do in his case. But I could just leave the rook there for a second, as long as the bishop's there also. Let's see. You know what? I want to move it. Check from the bishop, and then I want to move this bishop. But he's staying on light squares. I wanted him to go to a dark square so I could check and then win the rook. But that's not working. So I'm going to drop back here and aim at that pawn right here. Okay, I'm going to take that pawn, threaten the rook. I'm going to line up bishop with the king. And then double check and win the rook. Okay. Now I'm comfortable now that that rook's off the board. Vinh really doesn't have any more tricks, I don't think. Let's go get this pawn. See if Vinh moves to protect it. He did not. Okay. Now Vinh is trapped on those last 2 ranks there. I should be able to win this. I should be able to. Let's get the rook out of danger and bring the king. You know what? Let's move this down 1 to trap him on the actual back rank. And then bring the king. Well, we'll take that pawn first. And then bring the king. I can probably do it with those bishops too. I just don't know how, but I do know how to do it with the king and the rook. So I will go here, and when Vinh moves over, this will be checkmate. Save game, run game review. This one also went a lot faster than the previous game. Okay, and I went much more steadily ahead in this one, but I still had 2 misses. No mistakes or blunders, just 2 misses, which I think most sites would count as blunders. But the move list only lists 1 miss. We encountered that in the last game. It said I had 3 misses, but the move list only had 2. So the other one is hidden somewhere. This one is listed when I captured the c-pawn, but the other one, wherever it is not listed. Interesting. Oh, and I played like a 1400. Okay. Well, that's better than I did in the previous game, but again, Vinh made a different move too here than he did in the previous one. Vinh had 4 mistakes. I am going to switch over to the analysis tab because I tried running the game review in the last game and it stopped on all of Vinh's mistakes too, asking me to replay them, which isn't the way that the game review should run, but that might be a setting I've done. I just seems overly complicated. So let's see. Interestingly, Stockfish likes knight to f3 here instead of d4 or wait, c4. Well, I have only faced the French a few times, and at first I played this, but then of course the opponent plays this, and then after that there's either the advanced variation or the exchange variation or something else. So I've just been playing knight to c3 against it, and one of the reasons is because if e4, e5, I've played knight to c3, which is the Vienna. If e4, c5, I'm playing knight to c3, which is the delayed Grand Prix attack in the Sicilian. In the event of e4 c6, which is the Caro-Kann, I've been playing knight to c3 because when they play d5, I'm putting this pawn here. So I just started playing knight to c3 on all of these. It's not listed, but it's also not bad. It keeps us right around even. And here I did expect d5. I did not expect c5, but instead we got that. Oh, and it says I should have just played d4 straight away, but knight to f3 was fine, and putting the queen back was best. And then d4, okay. So I did right with d4 there. And again, I expected d5 probably just would have been a really slow French, in which case I already had both my knights out. But instead we got f6. Okay, it looks like I had a bunch of moves here that would have been fine. Bishop to d3, h4, which we have mentioned quite a few times that very often when you weren't sure what you should have played, if you go back and look at Stockfish, Stockfish will say h4 probably would have been okay here. And there it is. I would have been at +1 if I'd played h4 or a3. So how bad was bishop to c4? Not bad. It was still around plus 0.9. But now d5 was a mistake. And I was supposed to take it. Taking back was expected, and was I supposed to take with the knight? Yes, knight is slightly better than the bishop here, so I did right. c6 was among the best responses, and I wasn't supposed to bring the knight back necessarily. I should have checked. Okay, I did wonder about that. It says c3 would have been slightly better than what I did, but I think it was during my study, not study, but you know what I'm saying, during when I looked at the Grand Prix attack, there was a one move in or one situation in which I would have this knight here and have to bring it back. And I decided to bring it back here in that variation because then it's out of the way of the c-pawn. And that kind of, I think, influenced my decision here. We got b5, and bringing the bishop back was best or close to, yeah, it was best. Okay. Okay, this is one of my misses here. The one that I think was on the list is me taking that pawn. Oh, I should have just slid up in front of it because the rook is trapped. The last game that I played against Vin, I had a bishop over here pointing toward their rook, and I missed a couple of tactics 2 or 3 times that involved a bishop pointed at that rook. So that's something I need to work on, is watching my bishop's longer diagonals. I will admit here that I did consider this very briefly, worried about being trapped here with this pawn, but I could have just slid in front because my knight is protecting d5 and their rook is trapped. And basically, no matter what they would have done on the next turn, I would have taken the rook. Okay. So that lost most of my advantage. I was surprised that they didn't take my queen here, but oh really, castling was not among my best options. Queen to d5 would have forced the queen trade, apparently, because, well, why wouldn't they have just used that opportunity to develop a piece? Is it because I would have been threatening the check here? I don't think so, but, oh, no. I would have been threatening a mate. Wow, my bishop. Yeah, because of the bishop, I would have been threatening a mate. So that would have basically forced the queen trade, and then I would have ended up with a knight in there, which I guess would be threatening the knight to c7 check. So castling was inaccurate. Here it was their best move to take my queen. Okay, I wondered about this too. Yeah, Vin should have taken that pawn that was just sitting there. Now I do have another c-pawn, but that pawn was free for the taking, and it's a passed pawn, and it's past the halfway point. So it would have made a lot of sense for Vin to take it. But he didn't, and h5 was not there. Knight to d5. Oh, again, I guess threatening the c7 check. And if the king came over to defend against that, I could have just played over there to b6, threatening the rook, and it would have been a discovered check from my rook. And okay, I get that. It's a little bit of a long tactic, but I get it. And it says if I played that, they would just take this pawn. Okay, but I did that. Of course, having this plan here, again, no, now they shouldn't have taken the free c-pawn. Now they should have put a bishop on g4, but instead did that. And again, knight to d5 was my best move. I did not see it again. I went ahead with my plan. As I mentioned in a previous video, at least for me, most of the time just going ahead with my plan is best because I understand it, and I don't understand sometimes Stockfish's plans. The problem when playing bots and going about your plan is that the bot knows the best move. It's just programmed not to make it sometimes. I don't know how they program the pre-program in the blunders, the mistakes and whatnot, but we know occasionally it won't make one of the top 3 moves. It knows what those moves are, and so I don't know if there's like a random generator and it says lists all the legal moves and make one of those, every third turn, or, you know, a certain amount per game. I don't know how they do it. But here the bot did not play one of those top 3 moves. It played this. And should I have taken? It would have been okay if I had taken. I did take, okay. Because I separated that pawn, which I thought was good. Again, I was supposed to play knight to d5, and I did not. But that was my plan. I did that to protect that front c-pawn, and now this bishop has a free path over here. I was planning on moving the dark squared bishop up to have a path out here. Now bishop to g4 is not one of the bot's best moves, but it made it anyway. And again, we know the bot knows what the best moves were, or at least whatever engine that it's running on, and it looks like I see that a lot too. Whatever the bot's best move was a turn or two ago, it'll make that now. So I wonder if that's maybe how some of these are programmed. If the best move we didn't make 2 turns ago is available, still, if it's still a legal move, make that one now if it's not one of the best moves currently or something, but it didn't. Okay, I should have just taken it with the knight. I guess I was a little worried about if that pawn took, then this rook would be opened up, so I did not take. I just moved my rook out of danger, and it should have gone back. But instead okay, see, that was the best moves 2 or 3 times, a few turns back, but now it made it. So yeah, I'm definitely wondering if that's what Ven's programming is to occasionally make a move random that's not one of the, you know, it's one of the legal moves, a randomly generated legal move that's not one of the best 2 or 3, but then later go back and see what the best one was and play that. And it played the best move from a few turns back, which of course is not a good move now. Here again, I was supposed to take the bishop, but I did not. I went about with my plan of getting the bishop off the back rank. The rook was supposed to take my front c-pawn, but Vin played the 3rd best move, which was to come toward it. And it was one of my best moves to take that free pawn, which is one of the reasons that I moved the bishop up in the first place. Also, I knew that from there, if I was somehow challenged immediately, I don't know, say a rook coming over, I could lock that bishop in place with that c-pawn. It's the 3rd best move to take it. Oh, and now it's my best move to take that pawn or to take the bishop. And I finally did take the bishop because I was ahead enough on material that I decided the trades were good for me. So that was good. Then I took the pawn, which is fine. Best move by Vin. Oh, I should have played f3 here. And it says they wouldn't move the knight. It says Vin would have just played king to c6 after I played f3. I don't know about that. But I didn't play f3. I checked. Was I supposed to take the rook? Oh no, it would have been much better if I had checked here first. Would have been plus 36 had I checked first. And it says they would have come up, but wouldn't they have gone down to continue defending that rook? Just out of curiosity, if I had checked here, wouldn't they? It says it would have been slightly better to come up to c6. But if they come up to c6, well, I'm going to take that rook, right? Yes. Oh, I'm going to take that rook no matter what they do. Even if they went down, I would... Wait. Oh no, I would not take that rook if they went to c8, but c8 is not one of the top 3 moves. If they go there, my best move is actually bishop to e6 check. Oh, driving it away from that rook, trapping it on b8, or having to block with this rook, in which case I would just take it. But I would be starting to be very nervous about my back rank if I brought this rook up, because that rook's only 2 steps away from getting back here. But that's not what happened. I just went ahead and took that rook so I wouldn't have to worry about my back rank for a second. And again, f3 is my best move. I didn't play it. I saw the hanging pawn. I didn't want that rook to be able to come to my back rank. Their rook went over there for some reason, and this time, oh, it was trying to force me to play f3. That's another thing I've seen in bot programming sometimes. When you've had a best move that you've missed a couple of times, it'll push you toward that sometimes. So here they did convince me to play f3. I'm still looking for my second miss, because I remember what happened after here, and I might not have made the best move every time, but I was pretty sure that I had this won. I just had to trade off these pieces, especially since the bot didn't move its knight. It played that. Oh, and it was not my best move to take the knight. Well, that's fantastic, but I took it because that's how I win games when I have a chance, is getting rid of the opponent's pieces when I have a chance. But anyway, where was my other miss? Because it's not in the list here. We did see, did I see it and not notice it? Yeah, the decapturing c5 was a miss right here when I should have put the bishop on d5, but instead I took the pawn. Okay. Oh, my next miss was 3 moves later. Okay. It was here when I played a3. That was counted as a miss. Did it show it on the board? Oh, it said it over here, but there's no symbol on the board. Weird. And that's okay. Several times in a row I should have played knight to d5, but that time it was counted as a miss. Okay. Okay, well, I beat Vinh, but as we saw the previous game, I was forced into a draw because I blundered, not paying attention, maybe getting overconfident once I realized I was up a full rook and a couple of pawns. But based on the number of mistakes that Vinh made in that game and in this one, I should be able to beat Vinh every time. I'm just not doing it. As we all do, I have to work to get better. Thank you for spending your time here. I will see you next time.